22 minutes past 8. BBC Radio Wiltshire. I'm Jono. Talking of parking it, you might remember a couple of weeks ago, I told you about a group of cyclists who met the Pope at the Vatican as they set off on a marathon cycle from Italy to London, raising money for cancer research. Not only did they get to meet the Pope, he blessed them ahead of their epic ride. And 17 days on, they're back in the UK. A bit later after 9, we're going to catch up with Tim, who we spoke to originally, who joined them, I think it was at Milan. But I'm really pleased to say that just over the Wiltshire border in Hampshire, it's fine, we'll let him off. Team member Andrew Gibson is with me now. He beat cancer himself and has been on this epic journey. 17 days, over 2,000 kilometres. How are you feeling?
It was quite a strenuous exercise. I mean, we talk about our motto is ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And to be honest with you, 2,300 kilometres and going over the Stelvio, which is probably the most difficult climb in Italy, it was quite taxing.
I'm not surprised. I cannot imagine even beginning this kind of thing. Total hats off to you guys. Tell us about meeting the Pope. How did that happen, first of all?
It happened with a lot of help from Bishop Egan in Portsmouth and the nuncio, because the Vatican actually have ambassadors in every country, including the UK, and they helped us, and they were they thought our project was inspiring, and they were very, very helpful, to the point that when we were actually in the auditorium, there was about 10,000 people in the auditorium, they announced before we actually met the Pope that we were there and what we were going to be doing. And when we were leaving the auditorium, there were high fives and everything as we walked out through the tunnel system they have there. No, it was really exceptional.
Yeah. What kind of conversation did you have with the Pope?
Well, the reason I spoke to him was because I speak Italian, and we weren't quite sure about his English, although I think he speaks perfect English. But anyway, I just chatted to him about the what we were trying to do, and how we were very, we were on a road for the eradication of cancer, and we were raising the money for the hospital in Southampton, and he really seemed very interested, and I gave him a jersey, a cancer research jersey, with Pope Francis written on the back, and I did suggest to him that he could join us, and he found that quite amusing.
Hey, imagine a cycling version of the Pope-mobile. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And did you actually kind of feel in those tough times, I'm sure, because, I mean, as you say, just imagining cycling all that way, I mean, even flying that way exhausts me. Although, did you have moments where you referred back to that and that gave you extra strength to carry on?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, it was very important. I mean, I'm 74 years old, so I probably won't be doing another ride like this. And it really is a high point of my life, actually, just meeting the Pope, let alone actually having a conversation with him.
It must have been quite surreal. You must have been kind of like, this is the Pope. That's the Pope there. I'm talking to the Pope.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect to have a conversation with him. He came round and he was just shaking hands with a number of people, bacio mano they call it, and but he stopped. He seemed quite interested in what we were doing, and it was just a fantastic experience. I mean, it certainly is something that I'll never forget.
No, absolutely. I mean, you must have had an amazing trip on this cycle ride, regardless of, the tiredness and all the rest of it. So some great highlights to look back on. And when you sort of settle down for normal life now, do you think it's going to kind of take a while to kind of readjust to not being on the road and having all that every day ahead of you?
Yeah, I mean, it's I've done other long cycle rides, but, you create a camaraderie. I mean, you're all there trying to raise money, but you're also creating friendships, and there's a lot of family with fathers and sons. I mean, my son did the last one we did, and it's a wonderful experience being able to do something as strenuous as that with family, and there are several father and son and father and daughter linkages.
Brilliant stuff. Well, congratulations, and so great that you've raised so much money as well. And take the rest of the day off, I reckon. Now.
Yeah, but if anyone's listening, go on to inspiredliving.org.uk and give us a little bit of money, because it's a really, really, really good cause. We want to eradicate cancer eventually.
100%.
We're on that path.
And I think you deserve it for putting in a shift in a bit there over 17 days. Andrew Gibson, thank you for joining us at BBC Radio Wiltshire, part of the team cycling the marathon from Vatican to London, raising money for cancer research and meeting the Pope along the way. How amazing is that? A Sunday breakfast at BBC Radio Wiltshire. I'm Jono. Hello. Now, as a challenge of epic proportions, a 2,300-kilometre bike ride dubbed the Italian Job, the team of cyclists, many of whom have survived cancer, set off 17 days ago to cycle from Rome to London to raise cash for cancer research. Before that, some of the team were blessed by the Pope at the Vatican. We heard from Andrew earlier. Now, Tim Stevens from Salisbury was part of the team, and we chatted last just before you were actually heading off on this challenge. So you joined in Milan, was that right?
Good morning, Jonathan. Yes, I joined in Milan, yes, along with 18 others to join the 10 that started from Rome. So, yes, that made us 28 riders plus 2 support vans and a support motorbike. So, yes, wow. It was, incredible.
Exactly. I mean, how you got back yesterday. How are you feeling today?
Exhausted, I think, suddenly. I've done 6 rides now since 2010, and this was without question the hardest. Starting in the mountains, certainly for the Milan group, proved, as Andrew mentioned earlier in your interview, that the Stelvio Pass is one of the most iconic climbs for cyclists, and it's brutally tough. And it really, really took it out of everybody, emotionally, physically. And that was, for a lot of us, that was day 1 or day 2. So, I think you're carried along on these rides by adrenaline. And yes. I think I feel this morning that my adrenaline just washed away. And I just, feel just immensely happy to have done it, of course. Suddenly very tired.
I'm sure. I mean, I've looked down on those mountains on flying out of Milan airport, and my goodness, I can see that there's no easy flat way around that. But did you have a bit of a mishap bike-wise early on? Is that right?
We did, yeah. Those of us that left Heathrow to Terminal 5 on that Tuesday morning to fly to Milan in the afternoon, arrived at the airport. We had 14 bikes left, or should have got on the plane, and only 3 arrived. Not the greatest of starts. We didn't land until probably 6 o'clock in the evening. Actually, with the help of Cancer Research UK, they sort of pulled a few strings, somehow managed to get talking to British Airways in the sort of during the evening, and somehow managed to get our bikes put on a plane that arrived the following day, the Wednesday lunchtime. So
wow.
3 of us drove one of the support vans back to pick the 11 bikes up. So, those 11 of us missed the first day. It became a complete lottery because obviously we had to get the bikes back into Milan Airport because that was the sensible place to collect them. But the riders are all riding north and away from the airport. So that day as well, on that Wednesday, there was a train strike and a taxi strike. So those that were left without bikes had to arrange private hire to get to the next night's hotel. And 3 of us, as I said, went down to Milan Airport and picked the 11 bikes up, and then drove about 120 miles to get to our next hotel. So,
oh my goodness!
Yeah, thankfully, it wasn't something we all needed, but I think everyone was determined to sort of get on with it and make it happen, basically. So, just a question of organisation, really.
Now, we heard your story before about why you're doing this. And in terms of the money raised, I mean, how important is that what you've all done and the hopefully great amount that you're going to make out of this?
I think the total at this point is over 60,000, which is an incredible achievement for what we've done. It would be lovely if we can still get more. I think there's more funding still to come, or more donations still to come from people. Hopefully, people listening to this might consider a small donation to Inspired Living. It certainly goes to a huge cause. Cancer research does so much for everything, the research that is done, helping people. I have a close friend, Michael Martin, who was diagnosed with lung cancer just before I left, and I probably didn't think I was going to see him again. He hasn't smoked in his life. He was literally diagnosed about 4 weeks ago, but thankfully he's making some sort of recovery, and I'm so pleased. My plan today is to go and see him. So, and he's been an inspiration for me as to why we do this, basically. So, whatever other reasons I had for doing it, which I did mention when I was on a couple of weeks ago, but Mike's situation has spurred me on, and a lot of people that know him, were within the party that did the ride. So there was an awful lot of love and support back to Mike and his family. That's inspiration enough to know that we're raising money for cancer research to do further research to try and eradicate cancer, and I think that's our motivation.
Definitely. And any more of these planned, or are you just going to take a break now for a bit?
I think a well-earned break. I think these rides take over a year to organise.
Wow, I'm sure.
From the start to getting to the point of leaving. So,
even then, you don't have a bike necessarily. So
absolutely. So it doesn't help, does it? No. So I think we'll sit down as a committee, in the next month or so, and review what we've done, how we've done it, and whether we've got the legs to do another one. So,
I think that's very sensible, Tim.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great to talk to you, and congratulations on
Thank you, Jonathan. Really appreciate it.
Cycle ride. No, fair play, well done. Tim Stevens there from Salisbury.